Three, two, one. Welcome back to another episode of Unlearned and Reborn, a podcast where old habits are unlearned and new ones are reborn. Hey, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of Unlearned and Reborn. How are y'all feeling? First and foremost, I gotta do it. I am so sorry that I dropped the ball last week. I definitely thought I had more time to edit last week's episode, and I didn't. We ended up going out of town for the weekend, so I'll probably re-film that episode, but I just scrapped it for now, and I'm just gonna do a whole new topic. So I'm like, new week, new topic. No use of me trying to bring that one over here. I really am going to get more organized with the podcast. I don't want to just put this on the back burner and just give y'all half, thrown together episodes, which I don't feel like, any of the episodes have felt like that thus far. But, this is just me being accountable and saying thank you for sticking with me and that I'm going to do better. So now that we got that out the way, excuse me, how was y'all's Valentine's Day? I don't think Valentine's Day had passed the last episode. So what did y'all do? Did y'all go on these little vacations? How did y'all do it? If y'all have kids, how did that go? Me and my husband, we're not really big on celebrating the, those type of holidays. We do like celebrating each other's birthdays. And I just made sure that I had got him some shirts and a beard kit. And, we just make sure I like it more being that every day, we do little things to show each other that we love each other, because I just kind of feel like when it's based off of the sole responsibility of one day, someone's going to be disappointed. And that's just the human nature, because to base your love on 24 hours, I just feel like it's so unrealistic. It's ridiculous. So shout out to y'all that, are able to make that balance in your relationships for celebrating the holidays, but without letting it be a huge, big deal. If, say you guys couldn't go out of town or sit down and eat, you guys just spend, quality time together, whatever the case may be, But, so last episode we talked about the gift of giving. And now this episode, I wanted to have a conversation with you about, this is for my ladies, which majority of my conversations are for the ladies. But, some men have told me that they enjoy listening to the podcast as well. So shout out to the bros, the homies, my dogs. Talking about being the it girl, right? And that's why I said it's more for my ladies, because that's it girl era, it girl. It's all about me. This year is me. I've even caught myself saying that this year's dedicated to me and all the things I want to do, the whole nine. Why do we do that? Let's talk about it. Why do we feel like we have to keep reinventing ourselves? And it still ties into the season's topic, which is healing your inner child. I found that maybe as a young girl, I've always been very ambitious. I've always had very, very big dreams. And I remember my first big dream was to be a teacher. Okay, cool. And then I had slowly switched it over. I want to be a heart surgeon. The amount of people that told me, girl, you cannot be a heart surgeon, was astounding. Babes, if you can't do it, say that. But why are you infringing upon my, my dreams, my beliefs? So I wonder if that's the first step as little girls, when we express our ideas and our beliefs that we want to be, these big things, and say it's the first in our family to, even go to college. Or if you, have it come from an educated family, congratulations. But what if, you don't want to go to college? Maybe you want to do something more freelance. Why is it that us as women, we feel like we have to keep reinventing ourselves? What about it that we can't say, okay, I'm going to close chapter 2 and I'm going to now go to chapter 3. And, maybe everything from chapter 2 won't come over to chapter 3, but I'm going to continue to write the story. So the first thing I wanted to address about being the it girl is the imbalance of the re-evolution of yourself. And I kind of got into it when I was just explaining. As women, we have these milestones of age that we hit, right? 16 is probably the bigger one. Or I would say, okay, you go from being 12 to, I would say 12 to 13 is a deal for some girls, young girls. You go from being a preteen to now you are 13. TEEN. Put some respect on a teen, baby. I'm 13. I'm not 12 anymore. Like, baby girl, I'm 13. Get it together. So I think that's the first milestone as a young girl. You go from being a preteen to a teenager. Okay, cool. Some of us may have gotten our periods, our cycles, if you want to be technical, whatever. Some of us have started to experience a little bit of womanhood, right? You may have some boobies growing, you might have, you might start filling out shapely, whatever the case may be. So that's our first one. And then there's something that changes, once you hit that 16 age. Like, do y'all know what I'm talking about? Like, I'm 16 now. Some of us felt like, oh baby, I'm grown now. Or, I'm getting up there to being grown. So maybe some of us were having run-ins with our moms about our attitudes. Thinking that we know everything, or, it's, y'all know, y'all know what I'm talking about. And sorry if I'm moving around. But so I would say teen, then you get 16, and then baby, we gonna amp it up. 18, now that I'm grown, I'm legal now. As we would say, baby, I'm legal. Okay, what is a bedtime? What is a curfew, baby? I'm 18. I'm about to go do some things in this world, okay? I can go off to college if I choose. I can go get a big girl job if I choose, like 18. Then we start going, okay, so say you did go to college. If you went when you were 18, 19, 20, 22, you'll graduate around 22, 23, 24, maybe, at least your initial bachelor's, depending on if you had to start or stop or whatever. So now you're fresh out of college, you have a degree. Now you're going to go work in the quote unquote corporate world, corporate arena, the big girl world, big girl panties, the whole nine, right? So in those stages that I've just addressed, I said teenager, 16, 18. Now you're in the fourth stage of where you've just gotten educated. You got that shiny piece of paper, that says, hey girl, like you're educated. You've done this thing. For those that have, because I personally have not completed a degree. But even though I haven't completed a degree, I've been in and out of, school. I still feel like I still came, because I'm about to be 27 next month. Shout out to the Pisces. I still felt like between that 16 to 18 to about 25, I was reinventing myself over and over and over again. Okay, no, I don't like this anymore. Okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do this. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I think it still ties into that whole it girl era that they're pushing right now. That you have to have it all together. Or maybe we should even define it girl. In my eyes, from what I've seen, is it's a girl that how they portray it in the media at least. And then I'll tell you what my definition would be from my standpoint. But the media pushes this very independent girl. A lot of times, if it's like a campaign for the it girl, the popular girl, a man is not in the picture. Let's talk about it, okay? She's around other beautiful women. Cool, great. Those are her friends. She's very she's in the party scene. She's she's in some club or some lounge or somewhere on a vacation. It's not anything. So now they have portrayed that this woman, she's carefree, she's beautiful, she's gorgeous, but she has no intention of settling down to have a family. She has no intention of going to get an education or desiring a place of work. She's kind of just like going with the flow type thing. So if this thing has been pumped and primed to us for years and years and years, and now, we're in our mid 20s. Some of us are kind of already 30 in like mid 30s. So we've been seeing this off and on thing with just different faces, throughout our generations, throughout this era. And especially when the makeup industry was booming. It still is up there, but when it initially had started booming and we saw more women, being recognized for makeup and stuff like that, I feel like there was such a push to change yourself, change it up. Oh, you don't like that? Bet. Go get surgery. Oh, you don't like that? Go do this. Oh, you don't like the way your hair looks? Go throw on a wig. Go put some bundles in your hair. Cut your hair. Lock your hair up. It was so many things, and I feel like as a young girl growing up, initially, I don't feel like it was pumped and primed to us to change. But I would say about 18 and in my college days, and especially once I got into the military, that thing was heavily on the screen. If you don't like it, go change it. But it's there's nothing wrong with you. Like, say, if you feel like you weigh too much and you want to lose weight and you go to the gym to change yourself, I'm okay with that. And I'm not even bashing people that are, like into surgery. And I'm not making that kind of conversation. I'm just saying that the amount of women that have gone to go and, under the knife to change things about themselves, I would attribute that to what they're pushing in the media. Bigger butts, bigger lips, skinnier waists, thicker thighs, all of that. And I just feel like that is why, in a way, women keep trying to get to this thing that they've imagined. Because, honestly, I was on that wheel, that constant wheel of, okay, I'm going to change this. Oh my God. I remember at one point, y'all, I was changing my hairstyle so often because I was just like, no, I don't like it. I don't like the way that looks. I want to do something different. No, I don't like that. I want to do this. I want to do that. And it's like, there's nothing wrong with changing your hair, but listen, like, women, when we going through something, like, first thing that we going to change is that hair. Yes. We going to change the hair. And then probably the next thing that comes up, if we don't change our current style, like say if we went from a wig to braids, we gonna cut that hair. Oh yeah, baby, we gonna go through our bald face. Like, whether you shaved it all the way off or I went through mine. I shaved the sides, and my hair was Rihanna red, and my mama thought I had sold my soul. She was so like, why? What happened? What did you do? So, So I said that was the media's definition. My personal definition of what an it girl should be, and I hate using should, but in my eyes, this is my opinion of an it girl. An it girl, she can be educated. She can have a man and a stable family. She can have all of those things. To me, a real quote unquote it girl is just confidence. And I think that's what they initially were putting in the media. Oh, this is just a confident Black woman, or this is just a confident woman. She's a neuroscientist. She's this, she's that. But then they slowly started to integrate the fact that she was so confident that she didn't need anybody else. And I think that ties into the season's topic of healing your inner child, because as little girls, we dream of our weddings. Oh my gosh, I'm going to meet the prince. The man of my dreams, and he's going to sweep me off my feet. He's going to open the door. He's going to give me flowers. He's going to give me cards. He's going to buy me my first car, and I'm going to have his children, and I'm going to be a stay-at-home wife, or I'm going to have this career. Literally, women, we think and we think and we think and think and think about how our future life will be. How many of y'all, that now that we are in the age of being grown, we're older, how many of y'all can honestly say that your life has panned out exactly how you thought it was going to be when you were a kid? I'll wait. I will tell you hands down, mine did not. I would say there were some things that fell into place. I told myself I did not want to have any children until I was married. I did that. I told myself that I did not want to have children by multiple men. I've done that. I wanted to go to college. I've done that, but I just have not completed that. I'm working on it. I'm gonna get there. Own a car, done that. Own a house, done that. I told myself I didn't want to live in an apartment. Nothing to people that live in apartments, but I just felt like, living in apartments as I was growing up, I was like, I really would love to have a house. And I have that, So, like, I just feel like when we were growing up, like I said, we thought about these things so much to the point to where we started to create this persona in our mind as little girls. So then as we grow up and, we make our mistakes and life happens and say we don't hit that mark, that's when that reinvented wheel starts. I think that's when we get on that wheel. That constant will that says, oh my God, okay, I said by 20. And then that's another thing. We have these age milestones that we have to get these things done by this age. Ladies, you know what I'm talking about. By 30, I want to be married by 30. By 30, I have to have my children because I need to be getting fine. I need to get my body right. By 30, I need to have, my master's. By 30, I need to own a house. Like, especially in quarantine when people were, when people were getting their stimulus checks and, say when the world slowly did start to open back up and, people were, giving their testimonies about how, they were able to flip their businesses, during COVID and they making six figures now. I think a lot of it is comparison is a big part of why we put ourselves on that reinventing wheel, because we look at our friends. I can attest to this. I saw my friends graduate. Some of my friends have masters and I'm like, Shania, you don't even have a bachelor's, not even an associate, sis. You have a high school diploma. You're married, you have 2 children now. And it's like, I'm grateful for those things, but it's that comparison piece that will have you so ungrateful with your life. It will have you so angry with yourself and with others that are doing what you want to do, but you have not dedicated the time to do it. Let's talk about it. I'm telling you, that envious, jealous thing is misplaced admiration for what that person is doing. You wish you could be doing that. And shout out to the moms that are doing it as well, because that's another thing. I feel like in society, it's pushed that you have to choose either your career, or you can choose being a mother, or you choose your marriage. But you can't have all three. And I feel like now with, work from home or remote work being so popular now, I feel like it is more flexible for you to be able to do these things. Mamas, I see you. Wives, I see you. And people that are doing both, you a mama and you a wife, and you stay at home, baby, you got 3 full-time jobs right there with 0 pay. So, understanding that, first trying to figure out, why am I on the wheel? Why do I keep putting myself on the wheel? And I realized for me, a lot of it really was comparison, y'all. Like, I was comparing myself to my friends and their progress. Mind you, these people don't have children. These people are not married. Call it what you want, but those things bring another level of responsibility. And it is a time consuming thing. Your marriage, yes, it's time consuming because you have to put work in to make your marriage work. Having children, that's time consuming. You have to put work into rearing your children, into raising them in the way that you want them to be raised. And we're going to start homeschooling in August. That's going to be even more time. So yeah, I had to give myself a big pat on the back because I'm like, Shania, you're worried about, I don't have the degree yet, but look at the stuff that you are doing. You don't have the time that you would have had. You don't have the same amount of time that those people have. So you can't even compare and say, even if we were both married, both with children, both have businesses, still we're different people. We still even want to be the same. I had to learn how to give myself grace. I give a lot of other people grace, and I was shortchanging myself on the grace scale daily, y'all. And you want to be the it girl, you want to be, whatever, that's fine. But just make sure that your reasoning is rooted in something that is sustainable. Because if you're just trying to do it before your homegirl do, oh girl, I'm trying to be the first one out the group to get married. Okay, you'll get married, but is it going to last? Girl, I'm trying to be the first one with a car. Yeah. Okay, but is it a limit, or is it a car that's going to really, really last you? Because if you're chasing bullet points or chasing accomplishments, you'll get them. You'll always get there eventually. But now let's look at the time that it cost you to get there. Let's look at the friendships that you had to lose. Let's look at the sleep that you had to lose. Let's look at the integrity that you had to sacrifice. The standards that you had to overlook. With any grind, there's gonna be a loss of something, whether it's sleep, people, money, something. But at the end of the day, it's the people make their money and their success and their wealth in the risk factor. That balance of finding, if I lose, this 8 hours, throughout the week because I'm grinding, my small business, is the risk of me being sleep deprived truly worth that I'm, 50 grand away from my new tax bracket? Most people say, oh, no question, easy. Okay, cool. Other people say, I could try to, work out my work week a little bit better so I can do 4 hours instead of 8 hours right away. Okay, cool. It would genuinely and wholeheartedly depend on you. And that's what it should be dependent on. Little girls, young girls, because I don't know the full age range. Well, I do. I don't think there's a lot of teens that listen. But my best advice to y'all that are, 13, 14, 15, 16, you're under 18, is to really, really learn how to make mistakes. I know y'all thought I was going to say something else. Learn yourself, find out what you love to do. Before you do all of that, I want you to be comfortable with failing first. Because as women, we do not do well as a general population, general sex, right? With making mistakes, me included. We will think that thing over. If we are a mother, we will call ourselves bad mothers. If we are wives, oh, I'm such a bad wife. I'm such a bad friend. How do I know? Because I've done it to myself. Sometimes I catch myself still doing it. But I told myself in this therapy group that I'm in, just this past Tuesday, I want to be comfortable with making mistakes. Because it's in making a mistake that you say, you know what? I should not have invested in that. My time in that. Now that I know that this person is just a taker, I will only give them this much time next time. And that way I will be able to keep, the rest of my time to myself. When you get comfortable with making mistakes, because this is before you, because guess what? The reason why I said I would be comfortable with making mistakes before going into this deep dive of learning yourself is because in that process of learning yourself, it's okay and acceptable for trauma and uncomfortableness to come up, right? You want to make sure that, say, if, you snap off on your homegirl because, she says something about your dad that's really not active in your life, you are not so bent out of shape at the fact that you snapped off. You would say, okay, you know what? I'm sorry, girl. That triggered me what you said. I apologize that I snapped on you like that. I'm going through this healing journey, and that's something that I'm trying to work through right now. So that subject is very touchy for me. I'm not saying we can never talk about it, but just right now while I'm working through this, I'd appreciate if we can kind of keep those conversations about my dad to a minimum until I'm fully ready to be able to have those conversations without being so triggered to the point that I'm being aggressive with you. But guess what? The only way you would be okay and comfortable with having that type of conversation is being comfortable enough to make the mistake of snapping off in the first place. Be comfortable in the fact that you snapped, at your friend. And that's why I said I would put that one first, because there's going to be times where, like I said earlier, you're going to get uncomfortable. You may get triggered. You may get depressed. You may get down on yourself. You may be outright confused on what you're feeling. But just understand that if you can get comfortable with failing first, and I know we hate that word. Oh, I don't fail. I just, I don't make the mark. Okay, well, most people will call that a failure. And I think we put such a negative connotation on failure. Pass and fail. Like, we need to bring back those days. Pass, fail. A 80 is passing. A 79 is failing. Because when we learn to start failing and failing with confidence, because to me, and I had to really, really beat this into my head, and sometimes I still struggle with it, is that a failure is good for the simple fact that meant that you put everything there and it just did not work out. So that shows effort, that shows perseverance, that shows determination. That's just like when my first car, my baby girl, my 2010 Honda CRV, kept shutting off on me. I'm like, oh my gosh. They're like, oh, your engine is failing. Okay. Dang, like, okay, what am I supposed to do? Well, he said, well, when I took it over to AutoZone, because that's where it put it out at, he said, well, when you turn the key, it's starting. He said, so that's good. He said, but the problem is, and while it's called, why I'm telling you your engine is failing is because it's not sustaining the battery life enough to keep you going, from point A to point B. So it'll probably get you about halfway there, and then it's going to shut off again. He said it's not a gas problem. You don't have a gas leak. You have an engine failure problem. And how many of us have engine failure in our lives? Engine failure in our hearts. engine failure in our relationships, engine failure in our finances, at our job, at our, in our education. Failing is not bad. Like he explained to me, you just don't have enough to make it a pass. You're not there yet. But in order to fail, that means that something had to have happened to get you started. And that's where we get, especially as women, we get hung up on that failure. And we say, you know what, forget it. I'm not going to do the business no more. Because I said by 25, I wanted to have profited $5,000 in my business. And I'm only at 2,500. And my birthday is next month. So just forget it. I bought classes. I'm doing what they told me to do. And it's not working. Well, guess what? We overlook the fact that you started your business. Say if I use myself for an example, you started your business here and say I started in January. My birthday's in March. And now we're looking at February and I said that my birthday would be next month. In 2 months, you have brought in $2,500 of revenue. But as women, we will overlook that because we set this goal for this age and we have not. We don't think that we're going to make it, or say, my birthday has come and I didn't make it. Oh, I'm a failure. I can't do it. Well, you did fail. Yes, you did fail. If we looking at pass and fail for goals, you did fail, but it's because you still had $2,500 that you needed to accumulate to pass the $5,000 mark. Y'all see what I mean? You don't always have to reinvent yourself for these goals. Take what you have and change your mindset on where you're going. Because you could get gifted. Somebody could knock on your door anonymously, drop off a briefcase full of cash that would pay off all your debts, pay off your house, your car, your student debt, all of that. But if your mindset has not changed, that now you have financial freedom, you will put yourself right back in debt. I've seen it. You can change someone's and you wonder why you see people that you've gone to school with or you work with people that you're like, bruh, this is an amazing opportunity. This job that we have amazing benefits. This is a great job. This is, we get so many things. And they're like, I mean, yeah, but I don't know. Or they, just have something negative. Those are people that, listen, they've gone through life as we all have, but their mind has not been able to make that shift. And I'm talking from experience. I have moments where I feel like I'm just trying to kind of start the engine of my mind, and it's just not, it'll go on and then it'll cut off. It'll be running and then it'll cut off. But there's something about perseverance that will really, really get you through. You want to be able to be the quote unquote it girl. It's more than just confidence. It's being efficient at everything that you are doing, whether it is being a wife, be a beautiful wife, be a loving wife. Even if you're upset and angry, talk to your husband about it. Babe, when you said those things, that really did hurt my feelings. Learning how to communicate. People talk about it all the time on podcasts. Communication. Communication is very hard. It is a tough thing to do. It is not easy, especially having the uncomfortable conversations where you have to admit that, hey, you hurt my feelings, or, hey, I'm sorry that I, hurt your feelings. Those conversations are not easy to have. And I want you to give yourself more grace, whether you are 16, 18, 20, 25, 30, 45, 50, however old you are. If you are listening to the podcast, you still have time to try again. Women, we give up so early before, and I'm not saying that's just one try and you're done. Some of y'all have been going at it for a good, 5-10 years, and you still feel like you aren't where you want to be. Look at the progress that you've made. You started your business, and even though you're looking at it as a failure, you got to this point by continuing the process. So don't stop. I think sometimes reinventing yourself is necessary, right? After a big breakup, a divorce, a big move, a new business, sometimes it's necessary. But what I try to do before I just try to throw away my old identity and try to go find a new one is I learn to understand, is my chapter coming to an end, or am I experiencing like a new plot, a new plot twist? Like, for my avid readers, when you're reading a book, you can tell kind of when that chapter is about to end, because they'll kind of slowly start, a downhill transition to move you into the next chapter. Say the character was running, from somebody that was trying to kill him. The end of that chapter could look something like, as I was running swiftly through the garden, I saw that the bus was coming and I didn't have enough money, and I looked and I felt in my pocket and there were two crusty, rusty, old stinking dollars in my pocket. And as I'm running, I look up in my eyes gaze and meet with the bus driver, and he holds the door open and I make it just in time. As I sit back exhausted, I lay my head on the window and I close my eyes. Boom, that's the end of chapter 2. Okay, it might not have been the best description, but I definitely let you know that there's something is about to change up in here. And that might be where a lot of us are women, as women are at. We're at our change. We're at this crossroad, right? Where we're getting ready to make a change. And we think that, well, I know I'm not at my goal. I know I'm not about to just cough up $2,500 more dollars, to make this $5,000 goal next month. But I feel that, I'm on this decline. Ask yourself, is this a new chapter starting, or is something just changing here within the chapter? Because I could also just say I laid my head down and closed my eyes to rest, and I opened them up and I was at my destination, and that could just be more information for chapter 2. I've learned, instead of running to reinvent, evaluate that first. And a lot of times, more than not, it is that a new season is on the horizon. So my chapter is about to end and a new one is getting ready to start. And like I talked about in the gift of giving, women, young girls, young ladies, sis, I need you to get more comfortable with not always taking everything that you started with. That's another thing and that could be a whole nother episode, but I'll touch on it a little bit. Us as women, that starting over phase is like a cancer to us sometimes, because we're like, oh my gosh, I'm starting over again. Or someone will say, well, I don't want to make that change or that shift because I don't want to start over. Sometimes that really is your best bet, to start over. Try it all over again. There's a difference between just trying again. Okay, I'm going to just try, to get, this car going, versus at one point I said, yeah, no, I have to trade this thing in for a new car. That's me starting all over. It was still used, but it was new to me. Okay. There's steps to this, but if you just keep throwing yourself on the wheel to be reinvented, you're going to be tired. And not only are you going to be tired, you're going to look up and wonder, who the heck are you looking at? You're not even going to recognize yourself. You don't always have to start over, y'all. You don't always have to reinvent yourself. Sometimes your new season is coming, and maybe because you've never seen this thing before, you're afraid, you're scared, you're confused. Some of us might even have an attitude because, girl, I don't get why I can't get promoted. And you don't even understand that your next chapter is, you're not even going to be working at this place anymore. You're going to start your own. And that's why you started to, you out of nowhere, now you just got this passion to start researching on how to start a business. Listen, our life just does not just haphazardly happen. I truly believe God is guiding us all the time. It's just, are we going to pay attention and go with him? Or are we going to, I don't know about that, and just stay in that job for 15 more years to retire? And you done made these people all this money. They tell you how innovative you are, how creative you are, how, man, we don't know what we would do without you. You don't think that you're meant to have something of your own? You're meant to just work for somebody else your whole life? No, I don't believe that. So listen, ladies, you want to up your life? I need you to start asking yourself the why. For my ladies that are in therapy, you know that is a huge thing. Well, why do you feel that way? Well, why do you think that happened? That why is everything. Because if you're doing it for the sake of someone else, you will be on that wheel many, many, many more times. Because people's opinions are going to change of you. People's thoughts are going to change of you. How they treat you may change. And if you're only doing it to appease them, put your shoes on, because you're about to start running. You're about to go for a whole marathon that will never end, because there's always going to be someone that's going to say, well, you could have done this, or why didn't you do it this way? Dang, girl, you acting brand new. You don't want to hang out with us. You think you better than us. Okay. Again, those chapters that I'm talking about, everybody from chapter 1 does not make it to the final chapter. And that's okay. But that character evolution that you read of this character, that they're inspirational, they conquer their fears. Most of the time, books that we read, that character from chapter 1 is not the same person come the end of the book. And that's intentional. That even in fictional characters, they let you know that as you go through this thing called life, things are going to change. You can't be the same person. I, Shania, at 26, am not the same Shania at 18. And I'm thankful for that. Because 18-year-old Shania was not ready for what 26-year-old Shania could handle now. So I had to evolve. I had to change. And that's okay. So listen, wherever you may be in your journey, I want you to know it is okay to change. It is okay to take a break. And most importantly, it is okay to start again. If that's what you need, start. But what I don't want you to get comfortable with is stopping. Take you a break, get you a sip of water, a glass of wine, kick your feet up, get your nails done, your hair done, all of that. But I need you to come back, okay? Come back and start again. Can you do that for me? I didn't hear you, girl. I said, could you do that for me? I'm going to hold you to it. Listen, if you want to be my twin, if you want to be like me, you already know what I'm going to say. Go to www.ulrbpod.com. Okay? Shop with me. Be my twin. Be like me. I'm fly. You'll be fly. Okay. Also, I've just launched another part of my business. It's called Crochet with Alyse. And I am offering crochet ruffle bucket hats. They're bomb. Listen, so cute. And I have a Google Doc because I tried to add it to Shopify, but it was just giving me too many problems. So, and it just makes me feel like it's more custom anyway. If you would like to place an order, I will leave it in the show notes, and you can click on that Google Doc and you can see what I'm offering. And if it comes in many colors, you can choose if you want it to have 1 color, 2 color, 3 colors. All of it is there. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me at ULRBpodcast@gmail.com. Email me at ULRBpodcast@gmail.com with any of your questions about crochet, any concern. I will definitely be glad to help you. Okay. And I got some more stuff coming up. I have a cow print hat that'll be launching soon. Yes, listen, it's gonna be lovely, and that's something that I've added to my chapter, crocheting more. So that's what I'm gonna leave you with. If you're watching on YouTube, in the comments down below, let me know what is something that you've added to your chapter. What are you doing differently, or just something that you've already been doing? I want to know. Listen, I want you to meet me here, same time next week. Okay? No matter what you're doing, I want to hear from you. I want you to hear from me, of course. We're in this together. I got you. Okay? Talk soon. Peace.